Power Rangers Dino Charge offered the franchise one of the most interesting and talked about artifacts in the entire show, the Energems. 10 powerful crystals that represent the power of good. The Energems were created an unquantifiable amount of time ago by the Morphin Masters, later released into the universe as a tool to combat evil. 65 million years ago, the ancient being known as Keeper had possession of the Energems, but was also being hunted by Sledge and his army, a team of villainous bounty hunters who wanted the Energems to rule the galaxy. Keeper landed on Earth and entrusted the Energems to Earth's mightiest warriors, dinosaurs. Each Energem went to its own unique dinosaur, bonding with it and granting great power. However, Sledge would release a cluster of asteroids that destroyed Earth and wiped out the dinosaurs. But this is just where the story begins. Join me and a group of incredible creators as we explore the history of the Energems. The Silver Energem was one of the last to be seen in the show, but chronologically, it was the first one to be found. Shortly after the destruction of Earth, Zenowing, an ancient being and assistant of Keeper, arrived on Earth to find his mentor. While searching, Zenowing found the Silver Energem. During this time, he would create the Dino Charge Zords, which would be based after each dinosaur that the Energems bonded with, and these Zords would only be awakened when a future hero bonded with an Energem. Centuries later, Zenowing fought in a great battle against the evil warlord Arcanon. Zenowing was able to bond with the Silver Energem, harnessing the power of the Titanosaurus. But his power was no match for Lord Arcanon, and Zenowing was defeated. He was later kidnapped by Lord Arcanon and exposed to a source of evil energy, transforming into an evil replica who goes by the name of Doomwing. Doomwing became a general of Lord Arcanon and stored the Silver Energem in his sword indefinitely. Centuries later, Doomwing used the Silver Energem and donned the Silver Ranger suit, luring a future team of Rangers into a trap. Fortunately, the Rangers were able to uncover Doomwing's plan, and many battles later managed to free Zenowing from Doomwing's control. Zenowing, now in control of his body, uses the Silver Energem to morph and then destroy Doomwing once and for all. Zenowing would go on a few more adventures with the team before going on a quest through time with his new partner, Heckle.
Quite possibly the most iconic duo in Power Rangers Dino Charge is Chase the Black Ranger and Koda the Blue Ranger. It makes sense since they were the first to join Miss Morgan and Keeper's team to track down the Energems. They spent a lot of time together before finding the other members of the team and the other Energem holders. While Chase was the first to technically join this team, Koda found his Energem long before Chase did, more specifically like 100,000 years prior. In episode 3 of Power Rangers Dino Charge, we learned Koda's backstory and how he found the Blue Energem. He is a caveman from roughly 100,000 years ago, and while inscribing some cave art in the cave that he was living in, he discovered the Blue Energem tucked behind my cat, tucked behind some rock. Thing is though, the Energem didn't initially bond with him. When he found it, it was just kinda laying there all lifeless. It didn't find him worthy until a few moments later. What is going on? Bye-bye. Koda hears some commotion from outside the cave. His little brother Taku was being attacked by a saber-toothed tiger, and in an attempt to save his brother, Koda tackled the saber-toothed tiger off of a cliff, and that would have been his supposed death. He just basically sacrificed himself. However, he still had a hold of the Blue Energem, and it was at this moment that the Energem finally found Koda worthy of the powers. And while Koda fell into a freezing ocean, the Energem saved him, encapsulated him into a glacier of ice, and kept him alive for 100,000 years. And in episode 1 of Dino Supercharge, we learned that this is the state that Miss Morgan and Chase found Koda in while on an expedition to find the Blue Energem. They brought the glacier back to the museum somehow, and then used a Dino Charger to unfreeze him. Thing is, Koda didn't really notice the passage of time, and he was secluded from the entirety of society during that 100,000 years. That's why during the show he has some issues communicating with people. He's still kind of learning how to speak.
It's me, Koda!
But now that he's unfrozen and he's part of this team, he can finally use the Blue Energem to morph into the Blue Dino Charge Ranger and use the Stegosaurus powers.
The Gold Energem was founded by Sir Ivan, Knight of Xandar, and it holds the spirit of the pterodactyl and can be used with a Terramorpher. It was founded 800 years before the events of the series when Ivan was on a journey with the then Prince of Xandar, Colin. When the young prince requested water, Ivan found the Energem glowing and floating down the river and gave it to the prince. Fury from Sledge's army was searching for Energems on Earth when he encountered Ivan and the prince. Once he saw they had the gold Energem, Fury attacked and Ivan fought to protect the prince. During their battle, Ivan and Fury's swords crossed and through their blades, the Energem bonded with Ivan. Ivan attempted to get away with the Energem, but as a last-ditch effort, Fury attempted to absorb both Ivan and the Energem. While Ivan was captured by Fury and stuck within his armor for centuries watching as he attempted to find more Energems, the gold Energem bounced off of Fury's armor into the river and was retrieved by the prince. He hid the stone and it then became part of Xandar's history, becoming the famed Stone of Xandar, which in the present day was said to be on exhibit at the Amber Beach Dino Museum. Even though Ivan had been captured and was missing, he was the face of the Stone of Xandar because he was the one that had found it originally. He had become a part of the story where the mighty knight protected the prince from a monster, then mysteriously disappeared, was never found, and the only thing that remained was the stone. When the Rangers were preparing the artifacts from Xandar to go on display, they discovered the true nature of the Stone of Xandar by the stone reacting and glowing to their respective Energems. At this time, using assistance from Sledge's team, Fury had been using the Terra Charge Megazord to fight the Rangers by tapping into the power from Ivan and the Terra Charge Morpher, but because he didn't have the actual Energem, his power was limited. Fury had access to a Terra Charger, but his team attempted to use Fury's own power and strength to fuel the Dino Charger to make the Megazord more powerful, but they were unsuccessful. Using a fake Energem, the Rangers attempted to lure Fury with a gold Energem in order to weaken him and retrieve the Terra Charger by advertising it publicly. Fury fell for their trap and tried to use the fake Energem with the Zord, but it didn't work and Fury was injured. As the Rangers were going to take the Charger back and destroy Fury, Ivan began to start trying to break free from Fury so they couldn't destroy him just yet. A little bit later, the current Prince of Xandar came to Amber Beach to retrieve every artifact from the museum, including the gold Energem, and Fury attacked once again. Once Fury got a hold of the real Energem, instead of gaining power from it, Ivan was able to tap into that power and break free from Fury. Once he was free, he used the Energem and the Terra Charge Morpher to morph into the Dino Charge Gold Ranger. Using the power from the gem, he was able to regain control of the Terra Charge Megazord and defeat the Spike Balls. Because he is a knight, his loyalty is unwavering, so after the fight, he attempted to give the Energem back to the current Prince of Xandar, but because he had bonded with the Energem, he was able to keep it. With the Energem, he was expected to join the Rangers as they had shown him their secret base, revealed their identities, and explained how the Dino Chargers work with the Energem. But they had not proven their worth to him yet, so he set out on his own journey to discover this new time as he had been trapped for centuries. The Rangers tried to prove their worth to Ivan, but they got their backbones or their bravery taken by the Monster of the Week, so they were seen as weak wimps who could not possibly be Rangers. While Ivan was exploring this time, he set out to form his own team to accompany him on his journey, his own Knights of Amber Beach, people he found around town that showed exceptional bravery. But after following Ivan to the battlefield and seeing what they were truly up against with the Viveks, his knights left him alone to fight by himself as they didn't have powers like the Rangers. The other Rangers were able to regain their bravery and were able to help Ivan fight and prove to him that they are worthy, and Ivan used the Terra Charge Megazord once again to defeat Bones and join the team as their 6th Ranger.
Now, the AQUA Energem is connected to the soul of an Ankylosaurus, and it bonded to James Navarro. 10 years before the events of Dino Charge, a geologist called James was out exploring a cave with his friend Rusty, when suddenly there was a cave-in, so in true heroic fashion, he pushed Rusty out of the way, leaving him trapped. But luckily, he discovered the AQUA Energem and bonded with it. As that happened, Fury just happened to show up, demanding the Energem. James managed to get out of the cave, but Fury was still on the attack, and knowing the danger he was now in, James decided to leave his family to protect them and stay with Rusty, leaving the world to think he died that day in the cave. But do you remember that family he happened to leave behind? Well, his son turned out to be our current Red Ranger, Tyler, and after James and Rusty wrote a letter to Tyler to check up on him, they noticed Tyler's Energem, and realizing he didn't have to hide anymore, he came to Tyler's aid and freed him from the control of the corrupted T-Rex supercharger, revealing that he is not only alive, but he is also the AQUA Dino Charge Ranger, and in that case, the first ever AQUA Power Ranger in the franchise. But best of it all, he finally got to spend some much deserved time with Tyler, his son, who he hasn't seen in years.
Chase got his powers and found the black Energem. He was sitting outside of a shop one day and the shopkeeper was closing up for the day. Her name was Moana, and accidentally let go of the stroller she had. The stroller made its way down a dangerous path, a lot of stairs, and into the street. Chase, seeing this, he leapt to the he went to go save it. He used his skateboard to quickly track down the stroller to save the supposed baby inside, and at the very last second, while the stroller was rolling in front of a garbage truck, he grabbed the baby inside and returned it to its owner. This turned out to just be a cat. I mean, still, you would want to save the cat anyways, but the shopkeeper, Moana, was very grateful for Chase's bravery and rewarded him with something that was inside of her shop, that being the black Energem. And on the spot, the black Energem bonded with Chase because of his bravery and selflessness, putting himself in danger to save this cat, and was now able to harness the power of the Parasaur, I think that's how you say it, Black Ranger powers. And then Miss Morgan and Keeper recruited him to be the first member of their team to track down the Energems. It's not really known how this Energem got in the shop, but by the looks of it, this shop has a lot of mystical and really old trinkets and items, so it makes sense that it just kind of landed there. She kind of seemed to know what it was before handing it to Chase. While not directly said, I think that may have been the reason she gave it to him. She may have known that it was looking for a rightful owner and thought Chase could be that rightful owner, finally being worthy of the Black Energem. And for roughly a year after that, Chase and Coda were the only two members of the Dino Charge team and became quite the duo, and that's why they're best friends in the show. And their backstory episodes happen to be a couple of my favorite episodes in Dino Charge, that being episode 3 and episode 4. And they truly were the start of something great.
Tyler Navarro was a happy-go-lucky kid who unfortunately lost his dad many years ago. His father, James Navarro, was lost in a cave expedition, which led Tyler on his lifelong quest to, if not find his dad, at least find some answers. He visits Amber Beach Museum for directions to the cave. He meets a guy named Chase who tells him the way. Tyler heads to the cave where his father was lost, discovering a strange artifact in the cave walls, which we know to be the red Energem. Tyler also comes across a cloaked figure who was searching the cave, however he does manage to lose him. Outside of the cave, Tyler saves someone from a monster attack. They're both knocked over and Tyler drops his Energem. Just as he reaches out for it, the monster freezes Tyler and intends to kill him. But just in time, the red Energem bonds with Tyler, breaking him free and granting him a Dino Charge morpher. He fires at the beast, inadvertently morphing him into the Dino Charge Red Ranger and awakening the T-Rex Zord. Tyler, along with his new friend, set a course for Amber Beach Museum. They pick up a new ally along the way and even save a guy from impending death, further showcasing the red Energem's power, but more on that later. The group arrive at Amber Beach Museum where they're met by two other rangers, Keeper and a lady called Miss Morgan. They tell Tyler that his bravery and goodwill is what made the red Energem choose him and bond with him. He's extremely eager to join the team, but something seems to be interfering with his powers at first. When the T-Rex Zord runs rampage, Tyler has no choice but to risk it all and run into battle. He morphs again, showing off his bravery even more and securing his place as the leader of the Dino Charge Power Rangers.
The pink Energem was founded by Shelby Watkins, and it holds the spirit of Shelby's favorite dinosaur, and mine too, the Triceratops, and this Energem is used with the Dino Charge morpher. It was found prior to the series, and it was located within a box that was already at the Amber Beach Dino Museum. At the beginning of the series, two other rangers went on a dig to find more dinosaur fossils and artifacts. On their truck, they had a box that stored the pink Energem among other fossils. Shelby had been working at the museum restaurant as a waitress for about a year and wanted to move up within the museum and get a job outside of the restaurant. So she had asked the museum director if she could go on the dig with them, and because of her vast knowledge of dinosaurs, she could be helpful, but she was told not to and to keep working at the restaurant. So Shelby stowed away in the truck because she thought that if she showed up, they would have to let her help on the dig. At the site, they had already set up their equipment, but Shelby, who was still in the truck, witnessed a cloaked monster steal the box with the pink Energem inside. Not knowing what was inside the box, Shelby tried to get the other rangers' attentions to stop the thief, but they were too busy with the dig to notice, so she took matters into her own hands and went after them herself. She snuck up behind the monster and got the box back until the monster noticed her and started to attack Shelby, causing her to lose the Energem box once again. Then miraculously, another ranger swoops in and retrieves the box for Shelby, and the hooded monster reveals itself to be Ice Age, a monster from Sledge's army who was sent to Earth to look for Energems. While the two of them tried to fight back and protect themselves, Ice Age knocks them back and breaks the box open, revealing the pink Energem. Before Ice Age could get to it, Shelby tried to grab the gem but was stopped by Ice Age, sending out an ice blast, freezing her in place. Luckily, before she was frozen, she had come into contact with the Energem and it bonded with her. Now possessing the power of the pink Energem and Triceratops, she was able to break free from the ice and use the Dino Charge morpher that had just appeared to morph into the Dino Charge Pink Ranger. With the two rangers using their new power, powers, they attempted to help defeat Ice Age, but were struck back, causing them to return to their civilian forms. The use of their powers, though, attracted the T-Rex Megazord. Once it grabbed Ice Age and flung him away, the other Rangers who were working on the dig and somehow did not notice the dinosaur and the monster attacking left the site, so Shelby had to get a ride from the other Ranger who had just helped her. When she arrived back at the museum, she discovered a secret passageway to a base that was built below the museum where she met the other Rangers that had already found their Energems. Despite working at the cafe for a little bit, Shelby was completely unaware of this secret base. While she was there, she was shown how her Energem is used to fuel her Dino Chargers and how she and the other Rangers now must fight to protect the Energems from falling into the wrong hands. Shelby couldn't believe what she was hearing, but after they got an alert for strange activity at the site of the dig, the Rangers all rushed to figure out the issue, but Shelby was hesitant to join. But after being insulted by Kendall, she changed her mind and gained the courage to join the other Rangers and prove to Kendall that she was worthy of the Energem bonding with her. After the T-Rex Megazord erupted out of a volcano, Ice Age and the Vivix began to attack as the Zord started to rampage around the city. Once the Rangers were able to get the T-Rex Megazord to stop rampaging and join their team, Shelby was able to use the power from the pink Energem to use a Dino Charger to morph, and she fought with her new teammates to defeat Ice Age.
Back when Keeper entrusted the Energem's powers to dinosaurs, the Velociraptor became the DNA bond with the Green Energem, serving as a proprietary host. The Green Energem was then discovered by Riley Griffin. Riley grew up on a ranch, working all day to help his family, but Riley had a secret love for sword fighting, constantly trying to perfect his technique.
I'm actually a bit of a swordsman myself.
One day he was practicing when his brother asked him to help feed the pigs. Riley calls their dog Rubik to help, but he's nowhere to be seen. While searching for him, he hears Rubik bark in the distance, and so Riley runs towards the woods. Oh, and as a side note, who works on a ranch and wears white sneakers, beige pants, and a white shirt? That guy has a lot of confidence. He eventually finds Rubik, but also Fury, who raises the sword with intent to kill Rubik, until Riley heroically steps in, using a scrap metal rod to block the attack. They break into an all-out sword battle, further showcasing Riley's skill. Fury uses a lightning blast and knocks Riley over, throwing the metal rod into a rock. The rock breaks, revealing a dinosaur fossil and the Green Energem. Fury spots it, revealing that's what brought him here in the first place. Riley, unaware of the Energem, runs towards the rod and infuses it with him, bonding him with the Green Energem and turning his weapon into a Dino Saber. The battle continues, but this time the odds are evening out. Riley manages to hold off Fury temporarily as he grabs the Green Energem and runs off. Later, Riley can be seen setting off from the ranch in search for the Amber Beach Museum to gather more information on his findings. Along the way, his scooter breaks down, having two passerbys help him out, Shelby and Tyler. En route to the museum, they come across a car wreck where a guy is trapped under the vehicle. Riley discovers the car is leaking gas, so the three go out to free him. The car is way too heavy, but with the three working together, Riley's Energem, along with the others, begin to glow and give them the strength they need. This is where Riley realizes he's not the only one with an Energem. When they arrive at the museum, they meet Coda, Chase, Miss Morgan, and Keeper. They explain what the Energems are, and that Riley's discipline and intelligence is what led the Energem to choose him, setting up his path to become the Green Dino Charge Power Ranger. This is the third Energem we saw in the show, but chronologically, it's roughly the 7th, as it's unclear between Tyler and Shelby and Riley on who found theirs first. With a shiny green suit, powerful weapons, and the Raptor Zord, Riley is shown to become a powerful asset to the Dino Charge team. I also think it would have been cool if they showed him using a green one at one point, even if it was just like a cute little gag, because this is really cool. I like the green version of this. I mean, I have the original one too, but like, I like the green one. It just looks kind of neat.
Yeah, as you can see, the pink, red and green Energems do start to intertwine in their story as it progresses. So a massive shout out to Alex and Marcos, who still managed to give such an in-depth breakdown of their respective Energems. But anyway, moving on to...
Let's talk about the Graphite Ranger, aka Prince Philip III. Prince Philip III is from a small country called Xandar, and he's a big admirer of the Dino Charge Power Rangers, so much so that he dreams of becoming a Power Ranger himself. When we first meet Prince Philip, he's actually not that nice. He kind of gives you a spoiled brat sort of vibe. Then again, he is a prince, so what do you expect? However, despite this, he actually has a noble side to him. Now, despite this noble side that he has, imagine he actually tried to buy his way into becoming a Power Ranger. Now, to be fair, if you're a prince, I'd probably try the same thing. But he quickly realized that there is more to being a Power Ranger than just a little bit of money. I say a little bit, I wish I had this kind of cash. Now, after he finds the Graphite Energem, he purposefully tries to do charitable things in order to get the Energem to bond with him. However, the Energem kinda knew that he's doing this for the wrong reasons, and he saw that the Energem wasn't reacting to any of the good deeds that he was doing. And in a very noble and selfless act, he actually gives the Energem back to the Rangers, hoping they could find somebody more suitable. Funnily enough, they now get attacked by a monster, and Chase's sister, the Dino Charge Black Ranger, is actually in danger. Prince Philip III doesn't hesitate in saving her and getting her to safety. And at that point, the Graphite Energem chooses him and he becomes the Power Ranger he's always dreamed of being. Now with the Graphite Energem in hand, of course it kind of gives him that baseline immortality that everybody has. And it does give him the strength of the, forgive me, Hacleophalosaurus. Yeah. Totally didn't butcher that. Now, as the Graphite Ranger, obviously he has all of the bells and whistles. He has the enhanced strength, durability, endurance, and obviously the strength of the Hacleophalosaurus. He also gains access to the mighty Pachysord.
In prehistoric times, the purple Energem bonded with the Plesiosaurus. 1 year prior to Dino Charge, it bonded with Albert Smith, a self-proclaimed adventurer who's also a freelance photographer who took a photo of Sledge's ship, which was discovered by Chase, leading to the Rangers flying out to New Zealand, although technically they already are in New Zealand. Anyways, they encounter the Purple Ranger, who surprisingly to them turns out to be Albert. But after a few hiccups, Albert realizes he isn't really cut out to be a Ranger and relinquishes his Energem to Keeper. After Albert surrenders the Purple Energem, the Rangers go out to find someone to bond with the Energem, but they're unable to find someone worthy, and desperate, Kendo falls for a trap set by a monster, which leads to the Energems being stolen. So to correct this mistake, Kendo creates GetBot, a robot designed to seek out and recover Energems. She has the Rangers distract Sledge while she sneaks aboard Sledge's ship when Keeper is captured. On the ship, Kendo manages to find the Purple Energem, only to be captured and imprisoned in the same room as Keeper. But using her smarts, Kendo corrodes the cell's floor, allowing the two to jump down to the corridor beneath. Cornered by two grunts, Kendo attempts to fight them off. She didn't really need to because Keeper could just bust out some of those insane ninja moves that he has used prior in the show. Anyways, as Kendo attempts to fight them off, the Purple Energem bonds with her and instantly morphs her into the new Purple Ranger, and Kendo rescues Keeper and escapes Sledge's ship with the Plesio Charge Megazord and helps the Rangers defeat the new monster. To me, Kendo is a really good choice for this Energem because she not only helped the other Rangers when they found their Energems, she created the entire Ranger system. All of the Dino Chargers, all of the power-ups, all the different modes, that was all her. So to me, no one else but Kendo deserves this title.
And there we have it. We wrap it up with the full story of all 10 Energems. Oh yeah, the 11th Energem, the Dark Energem. You see, the Dark Energem is a byproduct of the original 10 Energems. The first 10 Energems are filled with nothing but good energy, but of course, when there's good, there must also be bad. When there's light, there must also be dark. So all of the power of the Energems that was left over went into the Dark Energem. Before Keeper even came to Earth, he and Xenowing stored the Dark Energem deep in the core of the planet Sentai 6. And Sentai 6 is the location of the great battle that resulted in Xenowing bonding with the Silver Energem. We're going full circle with this. Lord Arcanon defeated Xenowing, kidnapped him and destroyed Sentai 6, before using the Dark Energem to create Doomwing. But the story doesn't end there. Before Sentai 6 was destroyed, a young man named Heckle tried to escape the planet with the Dark Energem to keep it out of Arcanon's hands. During his pursuit, Heckle was shot down and dropped the Dark Energem. In an attempt to keep it in good hands, he reached out and grabbed it for himself, and it bonded with him, but not in the same way that all the other Energems bonded with their respective Rangers. The power of the Dark Energem corrupts Heckle, creating his alter ego, Snide. Unlike Xenowing, Heckle and Snide can alternate between forms, but due to Heckle's memory being erased, he is as evil as Snide. Once Doomwing was defeated, Arcanon regained possession of the Dark Energem, but due to it being in such close proximity to Heckle, he starts to regain all of his memories and realizes that Arcanon was the one who destroyed his planet. And this is then the beginning of Heckle's redemption arc. The Rangers' plan is to find and destroy the Dark Energem in order to unlock their Energem's full potential. Heckle ends up helping the Rangers in destroying the Dark Dark Energem, and in the process he is separated from Snide. They destroy Snide and collect the Dark Energem, taking it into space and destroying it with the power of their Zords. Unfortunately, the destruction of the Energem created a black hole, sucking the Earth into it. But due to the destruction of the Dark Energem, the remaining 10 Energems can now harness their full power. They combine together and they create a time portal, sending them 65 million years into the past, when the Energems were first brought to Earth. They meet Keeper of the Past, reclaim their Energems, and stop Sledge from destroying Earth. Heckle is then gifted the original Dark Energem, becoming its official keeper and using it alongside Xenowing to save Sentai 6, obviously before it was destroyed. Then 7 years later, during the events of Power Rangers Cosmic Fury, Heckle can be seen having safely harnessed the power of the Dark Energem, using it to become the Dark Ranger with the power of the Spinosaurus. Now, the story of this Energem between Dino Charge and Cosmic Fury is unclear, but if we go by the comic book storyline, then in theory, Heckle having these powers would imply that Xenowing sacrificed his life in order to purify Heckle to make sure that Snide could never be released while he has possession of the Dark Energem. But of course, that's from the Boom Studios comic book, that is not from the TV show, so for all we know, Xenowing is still just chilling on Sentai 6 with the Silver Energem. Let's hope that's the case. And that officially is the complete history of the Energems. We can only presume that each Ranger still has hold of their Energems and that they'll be safe forever, but I guess who knows? Who knows what's going on in that Dino Charge dimension? There is a German magazine that contains an orange Dino Charge Ranger, but that is a shapeshifter, and to my knowledge, there is no orange Energem attached to that. I want to give a massive thanks to each creator who joined me for this video: Jacob, Alex, Adam, Marcos, and Tinashe. I'd highly recommend checking out each of their channels, as they will all be linked in the description down below. Lots of great Power Rangers content, lots of great Super Sentai content, and lots of great Kamen Rider content. You guys should really check it out. And let us know in the comments, what is your favourite Energem and why? Is it because it's your favourite colour? Is it linked with your favourite dinosaur? Or do you just love the Ranger that it ended up bonding with? And if you do want to see more Power Rangers content, then click the playlist in the end card.
Huge thank you and shout out to Sarah Jane, our Super Dino Mod Patreon.